Hey guys, welcome to Brian's Man Cave. So hopefully this stream is working on me. I've been experiencing some weird web issues going on. I don't know what's going on with this computer lately. It's just been freezing up on me and doing a whole bunch of crazy crap. But it looks like it seems to be working now. That really sucks. Hopefully the gameplay is not interrupted. But yeah, I decided to, well, I felt like doing some streaming tonight and I didn't know what games to play. I was going to try and do some Sega stuff because I haven't actually done any Sega, and for whatever reason, I guess the software I'm using, it wasn't syncing up with the game, so I wasn't able to show it. It just wasn't showing up, so I don't know. I'm going to play around with it, see if I can get it to work, hopefully, because I'd like to do Sega stuff too, and you know, I've done a lot of Nintendo stuff, and I figure I might as well try Sega. But the other thing I've been doing is Commodore 64 and Atari. And because I don't know, I was going to play a Nintendo game, I couldn't figure out which one to play. And so, you know, how is everybody going in the chat there? I see GameZar was like first in line. And we got Extreme Wrecker 2000, the Willer. How's it going? Growing up the 80s. Hey, hey. So, yeah, I mean, I just jumped on the Atari. I'm like, the thing about Atari is it's a great system, and I kind of do this, you know, typically with my Atari streams, is that I just kind of do, like, random games, almost like you did, well, almost like you still do today with real Atari 2600. Some people can put in one game and just play the same game for hours, but I like to just pop games out and put new games in all the time, just, you know, switch them around. Most games you play for about 5 minutes, you get bored, turn it off, put in another one. So unless you're going for that, you know, the high scores or anything like that, most Atari games don't last too long. So that's kind of why I like doing it this way. And because I couldn't think of anything else to play, I might as well do it this way. Let's start with a classic that I really suck at. This will be fun. Thanks if we can go Asteroids. Now this is a game that I just did recently. I did the PlayStation version of it, and it was okay. I was okay. I thought I'd do worse, and then just most recently, I just did Missile Command on the Atari 400, which I was terrible at. A lot of people pointed that out, how I was playing it wrong. You know, the hard part about, for me, the hard part of this game is getting used to the physics. You know, the fact that when you push up, and then the thing starts moving, and it's not as simple as just, you know, guiding the ship. You always have to push up to accelerate. And you gotta turn the thing around, and then, I don't know. Once it starts going really fast, I start going all out of control. The PlayStation one was actually pretty decent, though. I mean, the background was obviously different. Let's just see. I've always liked Astro Smash on the Intellivision far more than I've ever liked this game. Unfortunately, my oh geez, the emulator I have to play Intellivision games doesn't really play many ROMs. I don't know. I'm trying to get that worked out just to see what, you know. I've been told to use like different emulators, and I just can't seem to get it. What's that? GameStar is saying stay still. I wish I could move the window. Just hold on a sec here. It's the problem with the Atari emulator. When you play on it, the window stays stationary. I can't move it. Compared to playing on the Nintendo one where I can move the window around. Stay still and rotate. You'll do much better. Yeah. Alright. Oops, color mode. I don't want color mode. Yeah, I've heard this strategy before too. You try not to move. Extreme Wrecker is saying, yeah, the Astro Smash is on the Atari. That's correct. I actually did a comparison video where I played both Astro Smash and Astro Blast. The thing that's cool about Astro Blast on the Atari is you can use the paddle controllers. So you don't have to use the actual joystick. Whereas in the Intellivision, it's already that multi-disc, directional disc. But that's how I got used to playing games back in... There's also a warp, I believe, too, in this, isn't there? Although I don't know how... Whoops. Okay, now I'm moving. That's the other thing with this game, is once you start moving, you'll keep moving. Looks like I'm warping. I don't like how the bullets don't go all the way across the screen. It just stops like halfway through. I think I was noticing that too in the PlayStation one. Whoa! They just came out of nowhere. I definitely... Oh, I'm a lot better at Astro Smash. I think the other thing I like about Astro Smash is that the level, or the color of the screen changes after a while. And more stuff is going on. You get those things you have to destroy. Let's actually see if Astro Blast is paddle. See if I can play it on this. This is... Yeah. Oh, man. It's not good on a gamepad. This feels like it's next to impossible to control. Good thing about this one is you can hold the button down and you don't have to keep pushing it. You can literally just keep firing away. Whoa. I'm not good at this one. I'm better at Astro Smash on the Intellivision than I am at Astro Blast on the Atari. Especially with this gamepad. Maybe if I had paddle controllers. I don't have any paddle controllers though. I don't know if they make them for the like a USB paddle controller. I remember Arcade USA did a video where he made his own and he used the mouse. He took apart a mouse and he put it together inside an actual Atari paddle controller. Yeah, this is just not playable. Not playable at all. It just... push the button slightly and it just moves like halfway across the screen. It's just totally not playable. Yikes. Yeah. Bad game to play. Bad game. What was the other one I was thinking of there? Missile Command. Yes, I just played Missile Command on the Atari 400. And I showed you how terrible I am at this game. And then we'll see if we have Pengu as well. I think I got like pretty much every single friggin' game on the Atari. Missile Command. Here we go. Well, Missile Control, not Missile Command. Oh. Not sure if I'm familiar with Missile Control. Yeah, one of the mistakes I was making when I did my 400 play was I was aiming directly at the missile itself and not directly underneath the missile. Something I didn't notice until I guess I was playing it for a little while before I started to realize. And I've heard the arcade version of this use the roller ball. Curious to know how that would feel, because you have to, like, I guess because it moves all around, the roller ball works well for it. Hey Jeff D, what's going on, man? Yeah, I just had a hard time deciding what I wanted to play. I was almost going to play a Nintendo game, Mario is Missing, because I've never played it before. But then I started to, like, kind of mess around in it, and I realized I didn't know what the heck I was doing, so maybe I'll save that for another day. Yeah, I'll have to find out what Missile Control is. I'm not familiar with that title. Whoa. Just lost something there. It's great. There's a trackball homebrew for the 2600. Yeah, I don't have... I think the only trackball I actually have is... real trackball anyways, is for the ColecoVision. I don't have any for the Atari. Mario is Missing sucks. Yeah, I was kind of getting that impression when I first started trying it out. I was like, what is going on here? It's more of like an RPG style, I think, isn't it? Wanted to see if all that other extra stuff that was in the 400 is in this one, like the airplane thing that was flying by and the satellites. Oh no. That thing doesn't look good. Yeah, I'm still terrible at this game. Just lost all my cities pretty much. It's edutainment. I guess. Well, yeah. I guess it's an educational game. Oh, jeez, I just lost everything there. It's an educational game. It's better than Mario's Time Machine. Never played that one either. Yeah, I just totally lost everything there. See if I even have that missile control that he was talking about there. Missile control. PAL. Whoa. What is this? Is this like Missile Command but with more stuff in it? Wow. This is different. Video gems. Why does it say that at the bottom? This is just kind of like one of those. Let's make a game like Missile Command, but this is the rocket ships on the side there. I don't like how the missiles or whatever you're firing doesn't have that explosion thing. You pretty much have to be dead on with the shot or else you get nowhere. Space Invaders Cross with Missile Command. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Oh, now we got Breakout also. What would they do? Just mash up a bunch of Atari games? What was the point of this game? Is this one of those titles that are only in Brazil or something like that? Or Europe? One of those knockoff companies that just made crappy Atari games? It's kind of annoying. I mean, it looks neat. Just being able to shoot that little tiny dot is annoying. I feel like most of my shots are not landing. Yeah, it was only released in Europe. Well, it did say it was a PAL version, so that kind of makes sense. If it's only made in Europe, it's only on the PAL. Oh man, this is tedious. It looks like part of my city got built up again. This is just... It's more colorful than fun. It was a VHS company. It's probably one of those companies that just made Atari games. Because everybody during the days were making Atari games. Part of why the frickin' video game crash in North America happened. You got dog food companies and Quaker Oats and all these other... Oh man, I don't even know how many companies jumped into the let's make video games, and you know, the market was just being overflooded by crap, and that's, you know, that's what we had to deal with. I know in Europe was a little different though. A lot of Europeans say that they didn't really experience it in, you know, people in Brazil, South America I should say, didn't really experience the video game crash, so it's interesting. And people in Australia, you know, to them it was just steady. Video games were steady, but I mean, it's a different marketplace. I mean, America's a completely different marketplace than, say, Europe. So I can kind of see that. Oh, there's a River Raid hack called Bermuda. It does have differences between the original. Really? I'm gonna make a note of that. Bermuda. I like to play those kind of hacks. River Raid hack. You know, just like the one I played, Tomboy. I think it was, yeah, Tomboy, which was the Pitfall hack. That was pretty fun. So let's see if I can remember how to play this game. Might be a little bit rusty here. Like Burger King and the 3 Xbox 360 games. Oh wow. I'm trying to remember what I have to do in this game. I think it's kind of like Dig Dug or something. Ah, you gotta get the 3 blinky blocks together. I guess without getting hit by those things. Hey, video game Dust Sleeves, what's up, man? Playing some Pingu. Pingo. Pingo. Can I kill those things? Oh jeez. Oh jeez. How do we, Huh. Guess if it gets caught in the corner, you can't move it. Okay, we got 2 together. I don't know why I was thinking that this game was going to be more like that Kicks game or whatever. I must be thinking of something else. I must be thinking of a Intellivision game. What's that? Gold. Now, from what I know, this game is fairly rare, fairly expensive, compared to most Atari games, anyways. Oh, really? Cool. Nice of you to stop by. Video game dust sleeve. I know we're all busy. What do I have to do? Kill this guy? Let's see if I can squish this guy or something. Huh. Gotta kill him somehow. This Pengu guy doesn't do anything other than push blocks around, so time bonus. Oh. Okay, so we gotta do it again. Whoa. Guess I'm dead. It's more of a strategy game, kind of like it kind of reminds me of Dig Dug for some reason. Penguin guy looks kind of cool on the side. Oh. Oh, so this was actually in the arcade. That makes a lot of sense. How am I gonna... Oh. $2,600 exclusive called Parachute. So I got the three together. Gotta get them, I guess, looks like they turn into some kind of weird coins. Oh. Game's not as easy as it looks. How the heck am I supposed to kill this guy? I have no blocks left. Well, that ain't good. Yeah, Extreme Wrecker is saying he knows more 26 titles than I do. I don't bet. I mean, there's tons of titles. There's tons of Atari games that came out. And I didn't grow up with an Atari, so even a lot of the ones I play today, I didn't play them when I was a kid because I just didn't have the Atari, and if it didn't exist on the Intellivision, I probably didn't play it, or the Commodore 64 eventually. In fact, most of the classic Atari games that I'm familiar with, I played on the Commodore 64 way before I ever played on the Atari, on an actual Atari system. Games like Hero. I didn't even know that was on the Atari. And to some degree River Raid. I played that mostly on the Commodore 64, so... Again, another title that I didn't know existed on... get that. I think I just messed myself up. Be nice if you can actually pull the blocks. Looks like I got some lag going on there. Let's see how my stream's doing. Looks like it's lagging a bit. Really sucks. Frozen. Jeff D is saying it's frozen. Yep. Just wait it out. I know I was having this problem in the beginning. That's why it kind of took me so long before I was able to even get on the stream, because my internet was just crapping out. Let's try and move on to another game. Pepsi Invaders. Pizza Chef. Actually, there was another game I was thinking of. Dark Cavern. Is that the one? No, Dark Chambers, that's the one. This is an interesting game. Game Czar's like, I broke it, my fault. This game is like as close as you can get to to a game like Gauntlet on the Atari 2600. Actually, pretty decent. I mean, not the easiest to control. Let's see here. It's weird, you shoot things and then you turn into something else. I don't know what you're supposed to be. He kind of looks like he's some kind of elf or something. Some kind of dude. That's like a wizard, I think. Then they turn into zombies and skeletons and ghosts and all this weird stuff. I mean, some of it doesn't make any sense. This game actually was on the Atari 7800. It was a heck of a lot better. It actually was more like, you know, more like Gauntlet, but it's a good try for the 2600. I mean, a good attempt at trying to make something a little bit more advanced. That probably, you know, they were trying to at the time make something that could somewhat, I guess, stand up to the Nintendo games of the day. Because, you know, Atari was still making games during that time, so Nintendo was out and people still were buying Atari games, so they needed to make something a little bit more advanced than, say, Space Invaders. So they made stuff like this. A lot of this is just wandering around trying to find out where you're supposed to go. Maybe that's a door over there, but I can't get over there. That's a staircase. Entering level E. Tunnel Runner. Not sure if I played that one. Now keep in mind there also was the Star Path games, which you plugged that thing into your Atari, I should say, and you played games on a cassette tape. Supposedly they were much more advanced. Hey, Adam Henry, how's it going? I always get lost in this game. It's one of these games where you just really gotta explore. Just keep wandering around. Just like the classic adventure game on Atari. You know, you're the square and you're just wandering around trying to find the chalice. Oh, I unlocked a staircase. Yeah, that Star Path, was it the Supercharger or whatever? Star Path or... That thing seemed kind of interesting. I've seen a few times, I've seen people talking about it. And I've never actually seen one in real life, though. I didn't even know they existed for the longest time. Actually playing, you know, using cassettes to play on an Atari 2600. Where am I going to go here? Just keep shooting people. Yeah, that looks like it needs a key, which I have. Collecting treasure. The only thing I'm not sure about this game is if there's actually like an ending to it. Hey, alright, we got the Atari creep in here. What's going on, creep? Creeping it real? Slowly getting through this game. I find this guy kind of walks slow. Whoa. Oh, I found another key. Sword quest games were awesome. Yeah. I found some of them would be quite difficult too, the sword quest games. This is a game that you kind of play when you just want to chill. You've got a lot of time on your hands. Yeah, that's right. The game star is talking about Frogger. That's it. That's the only one I really know about the Star Path or Supercharger, whatever it's called. Was the Frogger game on it was amazing, almost like a real arcade game. Yeah. Okay, the pacing on this game is just getting really slow. See who else is there in the chat there. I'm gonna sway him to the Intellivision side. I wish I could play. I really got to get my Intellivision emulator to like that works. I can play some real Intellivision game. Speaking of Intellivision, let's play one of their better ones, except the Atari version. Perhaps one day I can actually get a setup where I can plug my real systems in and stream right off of them. This is Lock and Chase. The Atari Creep was just playing this not that long ago, actually. Just love how the character is literally just a hat with feet. So far I haven't used any doors. I think the doors work, the way you lock the doors in this one's a little bit different. I don't know if you can do them vertically. Because on the Intellivision one you can lock the doors horizontally and vertically. I don't know if you can do that in this one. See, that's like, Rex is like, told you, $15 USB capture device. OBS is free. Yeah, I gotta do that. Now, I would also have to completely change my setup, which is also the other thing. Right now, I can only stream live in my office area, because that's where I keep the computer. But all pretty much my man cave is down in the basement. And that's where all my video game systems are. Ah, jeez. I ran into the blue, weird cop-looking dude. Played Missile Command for the 2600 on IG tonight. Thought of you the entire time. Yeah, cool. I was actually just playing Missile Command. It's one of the first few games I played when I started streaming. I'm still terrible at it. So, even the Atari 2600 version. It's just not my thing, I don't know. I think the sound in this one isn't as good. I don't know. Something about the sound in this one is... Whoa. I do have to say, though, this is much better than playing Pac-Man on the 2600. Much better. And actually, another one that I've always liked, which is more of a Pac-Man. Hey, Kirk's Arcade, what's going on? Where is it? It's right there. This was the other one I like to play as well. Oops. Didn't mean to do that. This is Mousetrap. Now the hard part about this game is you only have the one fire button. And the same fire button controls the doors, as well as turns yourself into a dog. And so you pretty much have to control the pressure, I think it is, of when you push the button. Like, you have to hold the button down for longer. To turn into a dog versus actually, or no, yeah, you have to hold the button down longer to lock or change the maze, but if you tap it, you turn into the dog, like so. And then you can eat the cats. thing that's cool about the mousetrap over, say, something like Pac-Man is that you can store up your power pellets and use them when you need them, right? Whereas in Pac-Man, it's whenever you hit the power pellet, then you have that little bit of time. Hey, alright, we got Linda, aka Gamer Girl, in here as well. How's it going, Linda? Oops. Ah, my poor mouse. Oops. See, that's where this game kind of throws you off. If you accidentally hit the button, or you want to open a door, or change the door, change the maze, but then you turn into the dog instead, and vice versa. You might need to turn into the dog, but then you accidentally shift the maze. Ah, kitty cat. See, right there, I didn't mean to do that. Yeah. Just saw you're online. YouTube work like this first time finally. Yeah, well, it's strange. The way YouTube has been running, I've been hearing a lot of strange stuff about it. Like not notifying when certain people are live, not telling people when certain, you know, you subscribe to people, and then YouTube doesn't tell you when they put out a new video, and even if you hit the bell. So there's been a lot of that weird stuff going on with YouTube. So I see where Linda's talking. You know what else is another pretty good game on this system? Is Mario Brothers. Let's see if you have Parachute. Okay, yeah, I should check out that too. See if I have Parachute. Mario Brothers is kind of cool. Yeah, it's true. You only get half the notifications. And I've noticed, like, I've also been getting a lot of, like, weird things in my, you know, suggestion boxes. Like, videos of things that I would never watch. And I'm like, where did that come from? I'm subscribed to a lot of these, you know, video gaming YouTube channels and stuff, and I get a lot of these odd videos that show up that have nothing to do with what I normally would search for. Or maybe you search for one thing, and then from that on, at that time on, you get all these suggestions for that one topic, even though you only searched for it once. It's like, why do I want to continue to see that? It's just weird. Well, looks like Adam Henry has subscribed to me. That's cool. Thanks a lot, man. Seems like my subscriber thing has been slow recently. I don't know. And it's the other thing. I don't know about you, Linda, or any of the other YouTubers on right now. Oh. But it seems like a lot of people just get unsubscribed all the time. And it's weird. Like, I'll check my subscribers, and I'll be, you know, up by 2, 3, and the next day I'll look at my subscribers again, and then I'm down by 2. I'm like, what just happened there? You know, are people actually physically unsubscribing? I don't think so. I just think that it's just weird. I think there is a bug or something. People have talked about this before. And I've actually had a few people say that they were subscribed to me and now they're not. So there still is that bug. I don't think YouTube wants to admit it. Whoa. This is actually a decent version of the game, considering. mean, Mario looks pretty good in this. People are used to uploads every day, yeah. That's pretty crazy, though. Yeah, the Atari creep's saying the same thing. He gets all kind of weirdness when it comes to sub bugs. I don't know what that thing is. I think that's like a... I don't know. It's another one of these games I need to get it at least on the Atari 7800. That'd be a lot of fun. Actually, I think I have... I do have the emulator for 7800. I haven't really played around with it too much. And it does have a bunch of games on it. I think this is one of them. I should probably try it out. See if I can do a video capture maybe of some Atari 7800. YouTube unsubs people you don't talk to. YouTubers. I guess they don't like lurkers. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, it's kind of unfair if the YouTube platform can just unsub you, and then at the same time they create all these rules about, you know, you must have X amount of subscribers in order to monetize, or, you know, things like that. And then they can just unsubscribe you whenever they feel like it. Kind of weird. I mean, once you get way beyond the 1,000 subscribers, it really doesn't matter anyways, but it's just odd. It's weird looking at Mario wearing like blue jeans and a blue hat. I mean, you can tell that's Mario. You know, I honestly think that this was the game that I really wanted when I was a kid. But I ended up getting Donkey Kong. Because this game didn't really exist, or I don't think it ever existed on the Intellivision. Extreme Record 2000 saying, I'm not planning on monetizing any videos at all. Oh, that's cool too. I mean, it's preference. And I do hear that most YouTubers don't really make a lot of money off of monetization anyways. I mean, you have to be pretty big. You have to make like, I'm talking like in the tens of thousands of views, and you have to be putting out videos like all the time just to even make just a little bit of money off of it. So it kind of makes sense. I mean, why care? I mean, there is things like Patreon. Like, you can have your Patreon account, and people can send you money. So why worry about monetization? It was on the Intellivision, but I think the version is very rare. I've never heard of it on the Intellivision, but if there is one, that would be cool. Mario Brothers on the Intellivision. I know, like, I grew up playing Donkey Kong on the Intellivision. Let's play this train wreck. Oh god, this game. I have volume 2 of this one. Let's go. This game is so slow. Oh yeah. Parachute. Let's try that. I can't handle that game. That's just so bad. Let's see if I have this parachute game. If I don't, I'll have to try and find it somewhere. Parachute. There it is. Whoa. So Just start off already playing. Okay, so I'm a dude and I'm parachuting. What do I do? I see airplanes and helicopters. I guess I'm supposed to avoid them? At least that makes logical sense. If I'm parachuting, I wouldn't want to run into a helicopter. Oh, let me guess, it's going to get faster and faster. Yeah, it has music. That's true. I mean, it's not often that you find Atari games that have a full-on musical soundtrack. Oh yeah, I can see now. This is starting to really amp up the difficulty on this. Wow. Holy. And you can't go up. Obviously, you're just falling down. What, one kill and you're starting off? It's really slow. Like Frogger. Yeah, it is like Frogger. Except there's no logs. You're not in the water this time. It is kind of neat though. Kind of like the idea. It's almost kind of reminds me of like of that Flappy Bird game, or you know, something where you're just trying to like, you know, guide yourself through stuff without hitting things. You gotta think like 3 steps ahead here. Sort of like in Tetris, where you gotta be like plotting your next move. Man, those 3 bird things, or just whatever kills you. Am I playing a 2-player game? Is that what's going on? No. No, it just starts off slow like that. Weird. This game can drive you nuts. So is this like a European release as well? Only a European release? I see it says PAL. Home Vision. So fascinating that all these games just existed, you know, overseas, that we probably never had any idea existed until, you know, emulation started to happen. Holding down will make you go faster. Oh, okay. Sort of like Tetris in a way. PAL exclusive. Ah, okay, that makes sense. The one game I'm really wanting to play right now that's PAL, well, it's not PAL, it's NTSC and PAL, is Impossible Mission for the Atari 7800. Now, I have it on the, I have the original one, Impossible Mission, and it is impossible, it can't be beaten, because there's a bug. Oh, jeez. What is that? There is a bug, so the PAL version actually does work, where they fix the bug, and you can actually complete the game. Now there is one called Possible Mission, which is a kind of like a hacked version of it, where someone went into the code and fixed it. Which I'm planning on picking up, but it's a little pricey right now. I mean, for me anyways, it's like $44 American for me to buy it, which, you know, in Canada, because I'm Canadian, so $40 American in Canada is like practically $60, so I don't know if I'll be getting it anytime soon, but I do have my sights set on picking that game up. Because it's annoying having a game that I can't complete. Or that it's impossible. Holy jeez, you just come into that level and it just blows up. What is that? Oh, it turns out there isn't... I thought there was an Intellivision version of Mario Bros. Maybe I had warped memories. Well, it was on the Atari 7800, and it was on the Atari 5200, I believe. And yeah, lots of different systems. But I don't think it was ever on the Intellivision. Perhaps maybe one day someone will make a homebrew of it. I don't know. There's lots of great homebrews coming out. I know they're working on the a homebrew of the Miner 2049er, which I don't know if it's out yet or not. I saw a picture of a box on the Intellivision Invasion site. There's 2600 games. I know that you maybe don't include Panda Chase, UFO Patrol, Exoset, Peter Penguin. Whoa. Yeah, never heard of any of those. That is like, seriously, I've never heard of any of those. River Road. See that, see if I have that Bermuda game. There it is. River Raid, Rainbow version. Bermuda Triangle. River Raid. What? Oh, this is weird. It's like River Raid, but there's no land. Kind of cool. Kind of reminds me of River Raid 2. Whoa, everything went purple. Is it gonna be like Astro Smash, where the further you get, or the higher points you get, the screen changes color? So like someone just kind of like hack the River Raid ROM and just remove the background. And then the only things you can crash into is the those, I guess those are like icebergs or something. Kind of like turning the River Raid game into a 1942 game. Interesting, but I'm expecting to see a bridge or something that I have to blow up, and I don't see one, so just changes color. It's not as exciting as River Raid, though. I like the River Raid, how it has that, you know, the pathways you can take, and this is just strange. It's different. No Intellivision, yeah. Well, yeah, the Atari creep saying, yeah, there's no Intellivision port. That's what I was thinking, because I've never heard of it. Mario Bros. Was only ported Atari systems until Famicom NES. Every Atari console and 8-bit computer had a port. That's weird. That's true, though. I mean, I don't think that it ever existed on the ColecoVision either. Also read my Mario Bros. Intellivision comment I just wrote. I think the reason why Mario Brothers on Intellivision doesn't exist is probably Mattel had licensing issues. Most likely, I mean, that was usually the issue with games in general, and it's still the issue today with creating those plug-and-play systems and all that stuff. And even just like the new Intellivision system that's going to come out, and the new Atari and all that stuff, all the licensing, all the original games have licensing issues. Even those little mini arcades, if you see those in the store, like in Walmart, I mean, they always come out with the same games, like Pac-Man and Galaga and you know, stuff like that. You're not going to see Donkey Kong because it's a Nintendo game essentially, and Nintendo owns the licensing, and so it's never going to happen unless Nintendo puts it out. Other than that, it ain't going to happen. Asteroids. Let's see, what can I play? Perhaps I should give this one a try again. I always like to play this one again every once in a while. There's another ROM hack of River Raid called Harbor Escape, and a Space Cavern ROM hack called Space Canyon. Yeah, Space Cavern, I'm not too crazy about that one. I like Night Stalker better on the Intellivision. Ooh. Hey, it's Pizzamon 79. What's going on, man? Yeah, that's right, I'm playing some old game. Well, this is fairly new. This is a homebrew. Obviously, it's Super Mario Brothers on the Atari. Whoa, just got a free man. This I found is really well done. I mean, you can almost imagine if the Atari actually came out with this version of the game back in the day. People would have loved it. I mean, seriously, when Nintendo came out and a lot of people couldn't afford one or didn't have one or whatever the reasoning was, they still had their Ataris and they wished they could play Super Mario Brothers. Well, I think this would have pulled it off. Of course, you know, we all know that licensing and all that crap wouldn't allow it. Nintendo would be all over this. About to smoke. I grew up with the Atari 2600, got it for Christmas when I was 8. Awesome. Oh, I just ran out of time, didn't I? Yep, it's super totally original Mario Bros on the Atari. Do not steal. Yeah, I heard that this kind of ran into some problems. I think they had to stop making it or selling it or something like that. So there's only a limited amount of these games that actually went for sale from the Atari Age website, I think. Yeah. Now, if you have the Atari Flashback Portable, you can sort of play this game on it. But what I noticed is you can't do the fireballs like I'm doing right now. It just doesn't work. So for whatever reason, maybe it's the version of Stella that the Flashback Portable runs or something like that, but it can't handle the fireballs. And the way to do the fireballs in this, it's kind of like in Castlevania on Nintendo, when you want to use your secondary weapon. Oh. You gotta push up and jump. Just keep in mind, Atari didn't have 2 buttons. Same with the running. I don't think the running works on the flashback as well. Unfortunately, I don't know where my flashback is right now. It's kind of missing, which really sucks. My daughter was playing on it, and I think it just got moved from one place to another place to another place. Ah, jeez. And now it's gone. I don't know where it is. I might have to go and buy a new one. Probably have to buy that second one that came out, the one that has Pac-Man on it. Yeah, you can still download it, that's true. Just be cool to have a physical card of this to actually play it on my Atari. It's kind of why I was like really questioning, or not questioning, considering the At Games Flashback 9. Here's another thing that doesn't work on the portable. This thing doesn't do that. It just sits there stationary. So there's like a few changes. Oh jeez. Not doing too well here. I wonder how Donkey Kong and Mario Brothers got on the Atari 7800 with all the licensing. Well, keep in mind that Donkey Kong, originally it was like Coleco that had the rights to license the game. So it was Coleco that was putting it out, and ColecoVision had the better version of the day, and then they also made the Intellivision version of it. So that's probably why Donkey Kong was able to, like, you know, they were a little bit more open with their licensing, I think, at that point. And then when Nintendo, the company, I guess, when they made the Nintendo Entertainment System, then they probably started to get a little bit more controlling of their copyright. Hey, it's Jacob Downey. Super Ultra Mega Ultimate thumbs up for Brian's Man Cave. That is an awesome thumbs up. Can you imagine if they actually had a button for that? I'm doing terrible, as you can tell. But yeah, you could kind of still get this game from like eBay and stuff. People do sell them used. They're not cheap though. It's like $100 or something that people want way more than I can afford. Let's just let's go to some more classics. See, what do we got here? Montezuma's Revenge is pretty fun. And Blinky goes up. No. There was I don't know if this one works properly. Atari had the rights to deal with both. Yeah, that makes sense. I don't know if this is a complete version or not. I'm just gonna play it. Yeah, I'm sure at the time Nintendo was working on removing the licensing and all that stuff, and taking it all back, taking back control of it. Especially when Super Mario Brothers was going to be, you know, their big thing, and at that point anything with Mario in it is going to be their property. And so yeah, it's surprising that the 7800 did have a copy of it, but it might have been just the timing. Alright, Linda, take care. Hope you have a good night, if it is night where you are in your part of the world. Thanks for dropping by. Always a pleasure. Atari ate it all up as long as they could. Whoa! This is actually a pretty decent version of Donkey Kong. For the, I don't think this worked on the portable either. I think I tried to put this on my portable and it wouldn't open. It just went all crappy. But this is actually pretty good. I mean, this really feels like the arcade version of Donkey Kong, kind of like the DK arcade on the Intellivision. Whoa, pretty impressive. This is what happens when the programmers are allowed to push the limits of the system. When they don't have to be, you know, restricted to, you got X amount of time to make the game, and has to be done on a cart that only has so much memory because it's cheaper, and, you know, still had legal rights to use the IP. Ah. Yeah, but the fact is now, I don't think Atari at this point can use anything to do with Mario. Whoa. Including Mario Brothers, Donkey Kong, anything like that. Anything that's Mario would have been in. Donkey Kong looks like he's freaking out up there. I think it has something to do with the sprites or something. The Atari was only capable, I think, of having 2 sprites on the screen or something like that, and ooh, they couldn't be in the same spot as each other. Well, they could have easily done that. It would be fine. Change Mario to a potato, change Pauline to a goat, and change Donkey Kong to a pickle. Well, yeah, lots of clone systems, lots of our clone games did appear. I mean, think how many games like Pac-Man exist. Dot Gobblers. There was a lot of Donkey Kong clones as well, and then there was a lot of games that were just similar to it. I mean, that's what they did, right? They essentially started copying games. Why be original when you can just copy what's already, you know, big seller? Think of Space Invaders. A lot of games are very similar to Space Invaders. Like Demon Attack. You know, the same kind of concept. I don't know, the jumping on this game is not very good. Change DK to a rat. Well, according to what I've read, I mean, Donkey Kong, the concept, or the original game that it was supposed to be Popeye, so that's what I've read anyways. I know there is a lot of kind of rumors out there and myths about the video game industry, so I don't know if that was true or not, but according to the creators, they wanted to make a Popeye game, and then they didn't have the ability to do so through licensing, so they created Donkey Kong, which does follow a lot of the same kind of concept as Popeye, in a sense. I mean, instead of Bluto, it's the Donkey Kong. If instead of Popeye, it's Mario. Instead of Olive Oil, it's Pauline. So, I mean, it does make sense. I could totally have seen that. This one's quite challenging, actually. Sam's Pipe Mayhem. Yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen a game that was like a Mario Brothers clone. Like the original Mario Brothers. Don't know if I've ever actually played a game like that. This is actually quite challenging, surprisingly. I'm finding it hard to jump over the barrels. He does have quite a bit of clearance, and the barrels do seem to be going down the frickin' same staircase I'm on, so this has kind of got the whole arcade challenge to it. One of the things that the original Donkey Kong on the Atari is lacking is that it's not a hard game. This is brutal. Whoever programmed this did it right. That's for damn sure. See what happens when I get the hammer. That's pretty cool. I always find, though, getting the hammer usually causes more problems than good. Because then there's more barrels on the screen to deal with. Holy crap. I can't even get to the top on this one. I can imagine, though, if Coleco actually made the original Atari, or yeah, the original 2600 Donkey Kong like this, I'm sure it would have had a lot more recognition. I'm sure people still would have trashed it, but definitely would have got a little bit more recognition than the Donkey Kong that they actually put out, which was, you know, really sad. And kind of created that whole kind of thought that they intentionally made the game bad to sell the ColecoVision version. I mean, you can almost see a truth to that. That they would intentionally make the Coleco version better than every other system. I don't buy it. I've kind of said this before, because I think a company has to look good no matter what. And putting out inferior products, even if the whole goal is to try and, you know, make other products look better, it's still not a good idea. Heading to bed, guys. Night. Alright. See you later, Atari Creep. Thanks for coming in, man. Always a pleasure having you here. Let's see. Is there anything else I can play? Venture. I played that. Venture's okay. I was just going to end it off with some Montezuma's Revenge. This game I'm still impressed by. One day I'd love to get the cartridge to this game. I've only played it on the emulator. It'd be really cool to have the cartridge, though. If I ever find it one day, definitely pick it up. The challenge to this game is to just learn where to go. Really, all it is. And then get used to these things. They're your biggest enemy. Ah! It's funny how the stationary things can be problematic. Ouch. As much as this game is so much different than, say, the Commodore 64 version, still quite impressive. Hey, what's up, Rook's Castle? Okay, I've lost too many times here. Thanks for joining in. Oh, jeez. Usually when you die in the first level, there's no point in continuing on. The jumping in this game is really something you just gotta get used to. The clearance that he has when he jumps. You just gotta get used to it. It's not like, you know, games like Super Mario Brothers, the original, on Nintendo, where Mario had, like, the perfect jump and you could easily avoid things. This one, not so much. But it's not bad. I mean, this is actually pretty impressive for an actual Atari 2600 game. To actually have this kind of complexity Oh, jeez. Forgot to get the torch. And I forgot that too. Green Lantern. Always late to the party, man. Well, at least you're here. You made it. I just decided to play this one for a little while. The only downside to this game is that once you learn where everything is, the game doesn't really change. There's not different kinds of difficulties or anything like that. No. There's also a 2600 game called Forest. That I've never heard of either. Another one of those European titles. Oh, there goes my sword. It's like just when you think you've heard of most of the Atari games, you find a whole whack of them that you've just never heard of. You gotta get the torch, because you get to that lower area and everything is dark. Ah, this is, I can't remember. Montezuma's Revenge is the name of this game. Imagine back then having to put hard-earned dollars into an arcade machine or have this at your home and play it forever for free. Let's do this. I think the furthest I've gotten was like maybe the fourth level. Oh, this is not easy either. So you kind of gotta have to go up, and you have to go down and jump over this. Ah! It's funny how just stationary enemies can be like a pain. It's just really weird about this game. I mean, the enemy's not even moving, and he's a problem. Where do I have to go? Do I have to go up this way, I think? Oh! Didn't even get the key. Makes me wonder how Pac-Man is being sold on Walmart stores without Namco's permission. Oh, I'm sure there's some kind of licensing thing about that. There must be some kind of agreement, because they're putting Pac-Man on a lot of things. Like even the latest Atari Flashback comes installed with Pac-Man, so they must be licensing that out like crazy, and you know, they're probably smart doing it because they're probably making a lot of money. Probably making a lot more money than if they were to just try and do it all by themselves, right? License out the name, have all these companies build games and stuff, and I mean, they can just be making money hand over fist. Nintendo decided to actually just keep a lot of their stuff proprietary, essentially, or keep it to themselves and then only be able to put it out themselves. I'd like to see this game ported to the Master System Game Gear. Which one? Montezuma's Revenge is on the Master System. If that's the game you're talking about. Chase the Chuck Wagon. No, I won't be doing that. And I think Namco does own... I don't know. That's a good question. Who does own Pac-Man? Is it Namco? like the actual Pac-Man name and the Pac-Man game and all that stuff. But it would be smart for them to allow it. I mean, they probably are making a lot of money off of other people just using their brand and putting Pac-Man in everything. Most companies lease stuff out. Yeah, that's right. That way of thinking is what I feel hurt Nintendo on the long run. Yeah, I mean, they really are you know, keeping their IPs to themselves. And, you know, even just people like me, like YouTubers, when we do a Nintendo video and then the video gets flagged as, you know, copyright material and stuff like that. There's a lot of interference on my mic. Well, that's not good. I wonder why that is. Well, it's probably because this is not an expensive headset. It's one of those $20 headsets. How about Air Raid? That one's the expensive game. That isn't that game like $1,000 or something if you can find a real copy of it, even though the game itself is kind of crap. Air Raid, Menavision. What is this? This is just like that game I played earlier that was like Missile Command. Just as tedious. What is that? No, not all Air Raiders, just Air Raid. Also, there's literally an Atari 2600 game called Challenge. You should probably upgrade, my friend. Yeah, that's definite. I mean, it's doing this type of stuff. You can spend tons and tons of money on it. Doing YouTube videos. It's just not. I mean, I try to spend as much money as I can, but I don't have endless amounts of money to just keep, you know, buy the best equipment on everything. And if I could, I would. But when you got bills to pay, you got things piling up. If YouTube was my permanent job and I was doing this for a living, then yeah, sure, I'd probably go and do that. I mean, I spent about $100 on this camera, and that was a lot. That was a lot for me, anyways. I don't know about the rest of you guys, but $100 to spend on a webcam is not cheap. Because I did have a cheaper webcam. I had like one I only paid like $6 at some kind of like used, or no, not like a clearance store, and it's like the same brand of camera, but much lower resolution. It was really crappy, and so I bit the bullet there, and I went and bought this one, which was like $99 or something like that. Apparently all the YouTubers use it, so I was just like, why not? I'll get the good camera. And I actually bought this so I could do my my first live chat. The live chat I did with Sonya, which was my first actual live chat. And that way I made sure I had the good camera. And at that time I didn't have this headset. I was using the yes, Logitech. That's right. Grim Monolith has it right there. I was using the Logitech microphone built into it. So it was, you know, my voice was kind of in the distance. But at some point when I started doing actual game streaming like I'm doing now, I realized I do need a headset. I can't just keep using the thing on the Logitech camera. So this is the I think it's, yeah, the 920. The 1080p one. Cabbage Patch Kids. Let's see, what else can I play? Smurfs. Commando. Like I said before, this is just me playing random Atari games, so no logic to any of this. Defender. Not good at that one. Yeah, the 920's mic sucks. Yeah, that's what I figured out. Was that the mic did suck, and I wasn't, like, it was not working, and then I'm like, I need to get a headset, but, you know, kind of, you know what they say, you know, champagne tastes on a beer budget. Couldn't afford to go out and buy a $100 headset, and buy a $100 camera, and buy, you know, the capture card, and buy all the, I mean, I do this without really making much money. Even with my Patreon, I mean, I do have the Patreon set up. I don't advertise it a lot, or much, really. I just kind of put a link to it. But that, you know, that'll help incur some of the costs that I do put into doing, you know, buying games and buying stuff to do for the show. You know, it'll help out. Fishing derby. That'll be fun right now. Some Frogger. Just don't forget, I'm still buying lots of games. I'm still going out to the flea markets and stuff, and buying stuff just so I can, you know, come up with some more video content to do, and buying stuff on eBay. E.T. out of the question. I like E.T. on the Atari. Problem is, it's been a while. It's been a while since I've read the manual to E.T., so I often forget what all the little symbols are. And that's one of the things with E.T. Despite what people say about E.T. being a shitty game, it's not. E.T. is a great... Oops! E.T. is a great game. Howard Scott Warshaw pulled a miracle out of his butt to actually get that game on the shelf for Christmas. And it's amazing what he did. I mean, he had to think outside the box, essentially, to make that game work. And the key to it is to obviously read the manual. Without reading the manual, you're kind of lost. You don't know what's going on. You're just falling into pits, and then you're like, oh, this is a crappy game, and then moving on. Frogger's a fun game. Ugh. I don't know what... Okay. Wasn't sure what setting I was on there, if I can actually leave the screen. Oh. Sorry, just gonna read some chat there. Give me the beer, forget the champagne. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, well, some people like beer. You've missed challenge. You didn't notice that one. I have a challenge. Donate to Brian's Man Cave so he can get better equipment. Yeah, I'm poor. That's right, I'm poor. I like equipment. I like the equipment you have. This is a cool retro setup. Well, you know, when I decided to make my YouTube channel, I kind of had to think about how I wanted to do it, and I thought, hey, you know what? This is how it was in the 80s. This is how it was when I played games. That's why I don't really use the capture card, or I didn't bother running out and buying one right off the bat, and I just kind of used the camera on the screen because, you know, I'm using the classic TV when I play a lot of my games. So, hey, MC Mirror, what's going on, man? Thanks for coming in. E.T. is the first game I ever beat at the age of 7. pretty good. I beat it at my friend's house. I didn't get Atari until I was 8. Yeah, my first experience with ET was on the ColecoVision, and I think what it was my friend that I had when I was growing up. She had the ColecoVision, and I think she had the expansion. What do they call it? The expansion 1 that allowed you to play Atari games on it. Because that was, I'm pretty certain, my first experience with ET. I mean, that was it. And I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, I remember playing it. I didn't notice the challenge there on the list. Saw it with my own eyes. What is challenge? I mean, I was pretty cool. Like, I thought ET was neat. I mean, you know, it's definitely, you know, if you think about it, how many Atari games of the day, when this came out, had multiple screens like this? And just had a whole kind of concept behind it as to what you're doing. And a lot of people just smash the game because of this. The falling into pits. Now, I have heard, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's a hack where someone kind of, you know, changed, I guess, the mechanics of the game so you don't always fall in the pits so much. I don't know. Somebody mentioned it at one point. Yeah, like that. You know, you just get out of there and then you fall. And you fall again. But what you need to learn, like, why I was saying the manual is important is because of those symbols there at the top there, that arrow right now, you have to know what they all mean. If you don't know what they mean, you're not going to ever get this game. You're not going to figure it out at all. And yes, falling in the pits is annoying, but at the same time, falling in the pits is important, because that's where you get the pieces of the phone to assemble the phone and put it together. So I mean, this game does make a lot of sense. It's just, you need the manual. You need to understand it, and it's just the way it is. And I can see how a lot of people would start playing this going, wow, this sucks. You see, right now I can actually see that there's a phone piece in that pit because of that question mark. Here it is. So knowing that the question mark that appeared at the top there will happen. That's the bootleg CCE release you're playing. Yeah, it is. I have all the different ROMs and stuff. I just grabbed one. This is not the actual official Atari release, I guess, from North America. This is the flower, I think this is, or something. But you have to think, like, again, Howard Scott Warshaw had, what, a couple of weeks to make this game work? Whereas most games were probably like a couple of months. He had to do a lot of this stuff on his own, and probably under pressure, and they were like, you know, can you make the game? He's like, yeah, I can do that. How many of us have had jobs, or currently working jobs, and the boss is always asking for the impossible, and you're like, yeah, I can do that. Poor E.T. We had fun with this game way back when. We knew nothing of its shortcomings in the scheme of things. No. And yeah, it's a huge misconception about this being the reason for the video game crash. You know, I think at this point I don't think anybody actually believes that. I think it's just rhetoric or whatever. You know, it's like people just like to say it. Nobody buys that. We all know that that's not true. Oh, E.T. And of course there's all the jokes about the E.T. finger there. I mean, we know it's supposed to be his finger, but let's just be honest here. It doesn't look... It could be interpreted as another body part for sure. Yeah. I'm just not... Whoa. Oops. I think I just exited out of my emulator. It's not a good thing. There we go. I'm a OG name anime game in the 80s I probably finished. E.T. Bone Home. What's up, Mr. Postile? Midnight Magic. Midnight Magic was a game that I loved. I bought this game when I got my Atari Junior. One of the first games that I bought. This and Keystone Keepers. Pretty cool pinball game, actually. Yeah. Extreme Wrecker's right. Crash happened because of all the shovelware, all the crap. When every single company out there that had no business making video games was making video games because it was a craze and it was something to make money off of. It was, you know, big executives, all these corporate guys going, I hear that kids are playing those fancy video games. Let's make our own and make some money. They had no idea what they were doing. They were probably hiring all these like second-rate programmers and being like, make games for that Atari thing. And I think I'm better off playing this game with an actual joystick than a gamepad for some reason. Usually a lot better at than this. I miss arcades. Haven't seen a good one in a long time. Tell me about it. The arcades of today are a joke. They're not arcades. They're gambling for kids. They're casinos. It's all about winning tickets to buy some cheesy plastic crap at the end, just like at Chuck E. Cheese and Dave and Buster's. All the other, like, so-called arcades of today. Hey, Brian's Man Cave. When streaming 2600 ROMs through my capture card on both Flashback and Retron, I get a game sound. I get no game sound. Any ideas? Oh. Well, that's not good at all. Wonder why that would happen. I don't have a capture card, so I've never used one. See, what do we got here? That game is not good for the, ooh. Where's my Atari? There it is, still, ROMs. Yeah, it's not good playing that on a, what did you say, trying to find my ROMs. Playing it with a gamepad. This is what I'm using. I'm using a gamepad. I'm not using an Atari joystick, so playing these games is not always easy. Yeah, what was that one that Challenge. Did I try that yet? Can't remember. I think I did, didn't I? Unknown. No, I haven't played this yet. What in the crazy game is this? Alright, I seriously have no idea what's going on there. Anybody know what this is? Challenge? Read my shovelware comment for something to talk about. Well, I've actually been hearing this about the Nintendo Switch. I mean, I don't know a whole lot about modern systems. I don't really follow them too much. But I have been hearing things like there's a ton of games, like it's like bloated. And you have to pay for these games too. Like you have to download them, you have to pay for them on your Switch. And it just seems like there's like a ton of like, I don't know, it's just games that people are like, it's crap or it's unplayable or all that kind of stuff. Are you going to get the Atari Flashback Collection for the Switch? Well, definitely not me because I don't have a Switch, so. Anybody else gonna get it? I didn't know there was a Flashback Collection for it. Not Challenge of Nexar, just Challenge. So there's different kinds of challenges. This is just called Challenge. I don't know what this is all about though. This is weird. I can only go up and down. Oh, now oh, I see. I get it. Okay, those things are like walls. What? Real men own Switches. No, too much for my blood. I can't afford a Switch, even if I wanted one. They're like, for me to buy a Switch right now, and even just to get a Switch and say one game with it, like say Zelda Breath of the Wild, which would probably be the only game I'd be really curious to want to play on it, I'm looking at like $400 at least for the Switch. Here in Canada anyways. And about like another $70, $80 for the game. So that'd be over $500 for the system. This game is weird. And I'm just not in that position right now where I can drop $500 on a video game system. It's not in the cards. Guess that's a good thing about being a retro gamer is all the games I like playing are really cheap right now. Well, fairly cheap. Or I can download them and play on emulators. This game is just nuts. Switch is Video Central. Most are about $5. Okay, well at least there's some cheap games. I saw there was like the Donkey Kong arcade game on there. That'd be interesting. I think the same could be said about the PS4 and the Xbox One, and not just the Switch. Lots of games out there, all of them constantly. I'm getting it. It was slated to launch today. I got pushed out. Huh. Also, there's a thing where PS4 games end up on Switch. Huh. Brian. BOTW controls suck. Right, here's something to talk about. Think about the Atari 2600 had shovelware 2 decades before the Wii came out. Just think about it for a moment. It's true. MC Mirror, I didn't know you were in Canada. Yes, I am in Canada. I don't live too far from Toronto. Toronto, Ontario. Near Toronto, anyways. Ah. Monolith is saying how fast my internet because my stream keeps lagging and locking up. Yeah. I don't know what's been going on with my computer lately. I don't know if it's my internet service, but it just seems like it's been crap lately. And it's weird because I was going through a good phase there where all my streams were really good. Green Lantern, that's why I'm for the Amico. That I can afford. Yeah, well, the Amico's been a very good subject lately. I mean, it's a really interesting subject. It seems like a lot of people sort of just jumping on it, on the bandwagon of hate. Like, they hate the system. They're saying it's going to fail. There's a lot of, negativity towards it. And, I mean, it's literally just been announced, and people are already, like, smacking it around. I don't know why. Like, they're not crowdfunding. They're not asking for money. They're not going to take your money until the system is ready to go, and then it's on the shelves.